welcome to Diecast Restos for another custom piece. This is a Matchbox Toyota Supra from 1983, which a previous owner has almost completely entombed in black paint. The already black base and wheels escaped untouched, but everything else has been coated. Today I'll undo all of these actions, and then set about creating my own interpretation of how the Supra should look. Here's the 1983 Supra with its original tampos and amber tinted windows. And this is a real second generation A60 Supra on which the casting is based. Like the former owner desired, I will be creating a custom black Supra similar to the photo seen a moment ago. It will need stripping back and completely starting over with. As you can see from the internals of the casting, this model was given the code MB78. For 1983, it was numbered MB39 for the USA and MB60 for the rest of the world. It was painted white, had a black opening tailgate, and had red and black number 41 and Toyota Racing tampos. They came with amber tinted windows. These lasted through 1983 and 1984, but it was dropped from the USA line for 1985. The tampos were changed for 1985 in the ROW line to light and dark blue Supra tampos. In addition to the regular 5-arch wheels, it could also be found with 8 dots and an untinted transparency. The model was dropped entirely for 1986. The real car that it is based on was first seen in 1978 with the Celica liftback based A40 generation Supra. It was essentially an elongated Celica in order to fit a 6-cylinder engine. The purpose of the Supra was to challenge Nissan's Z cars. It was sold in Japan as the Celica XX. Toyota had sought engineering assistance from Lotus Cars, who supplied Toyota with components from their Excel. It was offered with an SOHC straight 6, either 2 or 2.6 litres in displacement. Exports began in January 1979. In mid-1981, Toyota redesigned both the Celica and Supra. The Celica XX name continued to be used domestically. The second A60 generation is what this casting represents. It was still based on the Celica platform, though the front end was redesigned to include pop-up headlights. Here I've got some excellent wheels to go on the Supra from Creative 164. These will look superb on my custom. The inline 6 instead of an inline 4 continued to differentiate the Celica and Supra. Also introduced at the same time was the Supra-based Sora, a notchback alternative to the liftback styled Supra. Export Supras received a 2.8 litre 12-valve DOHC engine, while domestically it also received a 2 litre, 2 litre turbo or 2 litre twin cam option. Cars received a 5-speed manual or 4-speed automatic gearbox, each featuring overdrive. 1983 cars, like my photo from earlier, had wraparound front turn signals, while the tail lights were redesigned. Also at the rear, a body-wide Supra sticker replaced the smaller Supra badging that was previously located to the right side. It was replaced in 1986 by the third generation A70 Supra, which cut ties between it and the Celica. Engines were increased in displacement to a 3 litre straight 6, with a turbocharger option added in 1987. The 2 litre Supras remained for the JDM. These were also slightly narrower than the 3 litre cars to meet dimension regulations. Then in 1993, the 4th gen A80 Supra arrived. The new car was only offered with new 3 litre straight 6 engines, one with a twin turbo option. The turbocharged Supras now received a 6 instead of a 5-speed transmission. Toyota were now focusing on performance with the Supra. However, with sales declining in export markets, the A80 was withdrawn from sale in the US in 1998. It had already been discontinued in Canada in 1996. It remained in production in Japan until 2002, when it was discontinued entirely due to restrictive emissions standards. The Supra name was revived after 17 years in 2019 with the release of the BMW Z4 based A90 GR Supra. It is manufactured alongside the Z4 in Austria and is powered by BMW's turbocharged 2 litre inline 4 or 3 litre inline 6 engines. This generation Supra remains on sale to date. So back to my model 2nd generation A60 Supra. So far I've sorted the wheels, removed the paint from the windows and detailed it, added in the base for some light detailing, run over the badges to help make them stand out, and primed the interior ready for this coat of red. I've seen pictures of these Supras with very 80s dark red to burgundy interiors, and I think it will look great against the black on mine, together with the orange tinted window piece. Meanwhile, I use my Molotow chrome pen to run along the moulded driveshaft, gearbox, suspension and exhaust details that Matchbox always produced so intricately, despite it all being pretty redundant on the underside of a toy car. Being painted black, there isn't a huge deal of detailing to be added to the body. Just a couple of turn signals and reflectors that are washed over with Citadel gloss. Once all of those have been coated, I lock them in with a clear lacquer layer. After this, I turn my attention to my dull red painted interior. As this includes the tail lights, I put down a chrome base ready for the Sharpie overcoat. I still use a combination of Sharpie and Molotow chrome for lights and reflectors, as I think the two teamed together give a greater depth to the lighting than a standalone paint pen application. However, for the black details such as the vents and centre console detailing, I do use my Artistro 0.7mm pen, as that is much more dense than a black Sharpie. Again, for greater depth, I wash over the light clusters with Citadel gloss. So let's put this Supra back together again. I first must lay in the plastic tailgate piece, as that is secured in position by the riveted in transparency. That clicks in place with a push. After that comes the interior part, which includes the tail lights. And with that in the right spots, I just need to hook the rear of the base to the body using the tongue and slot fitment. The front is connected with a 3mm M2 screw. Here is how my Matchbox Toyota Supra looked when I found it. A former owner had gone to town on it, with plenty of black paint or marker. They'd coated the majority of the body and all of the exposed windows. They did miss most of the wheels and the tail lights though, so kudos to them. As such, I thought I'd repaint this properly in black as a little nod to the former owner, whoever they were. So let's now take a look at the salvaged Supra. First off, a big shout out to Creative164 for these outstanding period correct Toyota wheels. They are spot on and are what inspired me to complete this build. I'll leave a link to C164 in the description. I've repainted the body in a nice new smooth coat of gloss black, which sits on it far better than the old black. I've picked out the raised Toyota and Supra lettering on the rear, which have both come out looking decent. Equally decent is the recovery of the window piece. It's a bit of a shame it's amber tinted, but I like how it works with the black paint. Inside, I've painted the interior a lovely 80s shade of dull red leather too. So let me know what you think of this custom job. Do you like the wheels? Should I have painted it another colour? Let me know in the comments. Leave the video a like if you enjoyed the results, and be sure you're subscribed for more. So thanks for watching, see you again for the next one. Bye for now.